My name is Gwynneth Resulta, also known as Gwen. I've spent 8 years as an educator and a writer and editor. I focus all of my work on diversity, inclusivity, and critical engagement in different creative arts. I have a Bachelor of Arts in English Creative Writing, a minor in Film Studies from Seattle University. I celebrate effective word choice and storytelling with my students. I've spent time teaching here in the US and abroad in Europe as well. I try to focus my lessons on Filipino culture, Filipino history, kind of spreading the knowledge to remote parts of the world that don't necessarily access that kind of information or have that exposure. Just spreading the Filipino identity where I can. I'm also a published author for a cultural publication, Reclamation Magazine, where I reported the anti-terror bill and all of the effects and the cascading situations that resulted from that bill. And I was also part of the activism group Anak Bayan, the Filipino Liberation Youth Group in Seattle. In high school, I want to say it was my English teacher who introduced me to the creative arts and just analyzing different literature. And I remember specifically this poem by Gwendolyn Brooks called We Real Cool. It was so simple but so poignant, and it said a lot when we did analysis as a class. Was kind of this whole new world of conveying different ideas, different emotions, and again, in such few words. I thought that's a very interesting art form that deserves to be explored, and one that I really want to explore. I actually had a couple of friends from undergrad who would ask me very similar questions, like how did that conversation go? How did you reveal to your family that you wanted to do the creative arts? And it was honestly never really like a sit-down moment of revealing anything. I think they always kind of knew that I was drawn towards the arts and that I had a passion and talent that needed to be cultivated and a hunger and a motivation to follow it. So it was kind of like, yeah, go ahead, Gwynneth, do what you want to do, because we know you'll be great at it. And I think that's very vital, especially for a Filipino in the creative arts, to have that certainty of support and community bolstering you as you pursue something that isn't, conventional for a Filipino. And I remember a couple of friends would tell me oh, have you talked to so-and-so lately? And no, why? And then when I talked to this friend, she was telling me that she had decided to leave, I think, biology as her major to pursue theater. And she told me specifically, I was inspired by you and how you defied your parents. And it was funny because I never told her that I defied my parents in any way, but I think she had that idea just brewing behind it. And I supported her. I was like, you know what, if that's the story you thought, then sure, let's roll with it because I support you too. My cultural identity is part of everything I do. It's pretty inseparable from who I am. So it kind of bleeds into my talents, my passions, my career. And I think that's true for everyone. Your cultural identity is with you, and it's here to stay. And it's something you should embrace and use to inform your work. It's something that's beautiful and makes the work sing, so to say. I think community is integral to all creative works and just careers in general, but especially the Filipino community. We are interconnected, and it's something that strengthens us and makes us better people. We can rely on one another, and I think, especially in my career path, encouraging others to have that connectivity is really vital for the success of the creative arts. My family, all the Filipinos that would come together and bring that sense of community as I was growing up. It's really instilled in me the value of having people like us surrounding us and celebrating what we can bring to the table. Our contributions are really beautiful and has made me feel very light in terms of, feeling good and feeling supported and feeling safe. And I've always wanted to continue that, especially in my career, which comprises most of our lives. I thought that would be a great way to supplement my community, supplement society. So it's always been something that I wanted to pay forward because I think the world deserves that. We deserve that sense of community and pride that Filipinos so often engender. I was surrounded by a lot of Filipinos where I grew up in Kalihi. It's a very Filipino-centered community and, of course, other minority groups. And I think it was also because it was a lower income area, I think there's just this idea of having to kind of work to maintain a certain lifestyle in order to survive, really. So I think that that combination of immigrants and hardworking culture has really impacted me as well, because it's shown me that that doesn't have to be the case. Like, we deserve to have lives where we don't have to work to be taken care of. We don't have to work so hard to make a living, to survive. When the community comes together, we're stronger, and that's what supports us, really. And also just learning about Hawaiian culture has also imbued a lot of my cultural understanding of seeing the world differently. Because, again, I was so proud to learn about Filipino culture. I was really excited to learn about Hawaiian culture and all of the things that kind of is missed or misrepresented in curriculums. Kind of interrogating, like, what are the gaps? Like, why aren't we learning about certain aspects of Hawaiian culture? And it's helped me think more critically about, like, race theory and Filipino identity as well. I want to see a future where we kind of prioritize that type of curriculum, because it sounds like the budget cuts were allocated to, like, lesser priority, and I want to see a future where we think this is vital, like, we cannot cut that out of the budget. I want to see a future where we are supported academically on a governmental level, to be seen and to be represented properly for future generations. Especially with my lens as an educator, I think it's important to have that more robust look into history, especially one that built America.